Hi, I'm Cam Hoyt, and welcome to Ask Brian Smith. This is the YouTube program where you get to ask Brian Smith the tough questions. So hang on to your seats. You might get the answer you're looking for. Yeah, so we're out today and we're asking residents, tourists, if they have a question for Brian Smith. Is there anything on your mind you'd like to ask Brian Smith?
I'd like to know if it's going to rain today, Brian.
Hi, and welcome to the studio. We're here today with Brian Smith. Hi, Brian. How are you doing?
I'm good, Cam. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Now, you've been the mayor of Wasaga Beach for the last 4 years, and I understand you're running for re-election.
Absolutely.
And how are things going?
Well, the last 4 years have gone, I think, exceptionally well. I think this council has accomplished a lot of great things. We're at a paradigm shift time in our community, and we've got a lot of exciting things to look forward to that this council has worked hard to bring to fruition. So, with respect to the campaign, we're out there on the trail, we're knocking on doors, we're making phone calls to residents, and I'm holding meet and greets on a regular basis out at different folks' homes who have invited me out to see 10, 15, 20, as we've seen as many as 70 people at a time, and getting great results from that. And that's what campaigning's about. It's about speaking to the people face to face and answering the tough questions.
That's wonderful. And again, thank you for being here today. What we've done is we've gone out in the community and we've asked residents and tourists questions. Some of them had comments for you. And what we've done is we've put a few clips together. We have 4 clips today. We're going to show you the clips and we're going to allow you the opportunity to answer as you see fit.
Oh, that's great.
That sounds good?
Absolutely.
All right. So our first clip that we're going to show you is actually from some youths that are in the community and didn't have the opportunity to go to high school in Wasaga Beach. So let's take a look.
Are you in high school at the moment? And what school are you going to?
The Adult Learning Center in Collingwood.
Okay, awesome. And I guess you never had the opportunity to go to high school in Wasaga Beach, did you?
No. Sadly.
That's upsetting, isn't it? It is. That's something that the town's trying to work towards. How would your life have been different, do you think, if you had went to high school in Wasaga Beach?
Well, I mean, if there was a high school in Wasaga, it would make commuting to it so much easier because you wouldn't have to wake up so early in the morning.
That's such a great point, because what time were you getting up in the morning to go to school?
6 in the morning, and sometimes 5:30 to do whatever I had to do. Like,
I bet you weren't even going to bed till 3 in the morning sometimes.
Probably not.
So that's our first clip that we have for you. And I know that on your platform, you've always said you want a high school to come to our community. Can you talk a little bit about that and where we are and where we still have to go?
Sure. So during my last campaign, I talked about fighting tirelessly to bring a high school to Wasaga Beach, something that our children in Wasaga Beach so deserve, as any other child in this province does. Wasaga Beach is one of, if not the largest community in the province, for sure, if not the country, that doesn't have a high school or a planned high school on the books. And I can tell you today that it's not because the province, the premier, the ministers of education, the other 15 mayors and deputy mayors in the county don't agree we should have one and don't believe we should have one, because they have all said that we have. Or should have one. Mm-hmm. The premier supports it, and 2 ministers of education actually sent a letter. One of them sent a letter to the Board of Education and told them that it's time to build a high school in Wasaga Beach, and that they should be working with the town to get that done forthwith. And the ministry even said they would assist and pay for the land. The school board will say things like, the board, the ministry won't support or won't pay for it. And we can tell you that the ministry has made it very clear to us that they pay for and fund all schools of all sizes, and they fund them 100%. The other 15 mayors and deputy mayors in the county, I have their support, and they have sent a letter to the board and to the ministers to say, yeah, there should be a high school in Wasaga Beach, and the time is now. So, we bus 750 plus children out of our community every day to other communities for high school. And, you know, just in watching that clip, this young man has to get up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning in order to get on a bus to go to high school in Collingwood. And then has to wait however long in the afternoon. And he's not alone. We've heard this from many children. I had to do it as a child growing up in this community, and it's wrong. You know, it'd be different if we had 75 children, but we have 750. There are about 288 schools in the province today that have less than 400 children in those schools. We have 750 children in Wasaga Beach. So why is it that they continue to say you don't have the numbers? You know, they've used every excuse in the book over the years. They've said if you open a high school in Wasaga Beach, you'll have to close the one in Elmville or Stayner. 6 children go to the Stayner High School, and about between 50 and 65 go to Elmville. And Elmville is at about 113% of its capacity. You're not going to close these schools for those numbers of children leaving. CCI, Collingwood Collegiate Institute, has about 400 plus of our children, and the balance go to Jean Vanier and a few to some other smaller schools. Collingwood's about 120, 125%, give or take, in between there at capacity. And that's a school that is now on a prohibitive repair list, built in 1952, 1954. And Jean Vanier, of course, is the Catholic school. The other thing that they don't talk about, they say we can't take those 750 kids and drag them out of those schools because that'll damage the school. But we know that that's not how it works, and we know that's not how you would do it. You would phase it in. It's the way they open schools. And, you know, if we get on the books today, we're probably still 5 years till the doors open. What they continuously say is you'll get a high school in Wasaga Beach when the time is right. Well, the time was right many years ago. Back in 2009, the Accommodation Review Committee, which was made up of my opponent, Nina Byfold, she sat on that committee and fought hard to have a school back in 2009 because they all realized we had the students then. And the school board staff actually recommended to the board that they open a school in Wasaga Beach, and the board went against the staff's recommendations. But my point is, my opponent fought hard back then for a high school, yet today she says, we'll get a high school and we need one. I don't understand why it's so different today that we have more students and still don't have a high school. I will continue to fight for our children. Our children deserve what every other child in this province has. And to expect children to spend 2+ hours a day, every day of their life on a school bus when they could be going to school in their own community, I think is downright criminal, in my opinion. These kids don't get to participate in after-school events in intramural sports, and these kids don't get to participate in some of the clubs like electronics or photography, the chess clubs and those types of things, because they've got to be on a bus riding that bus. They're not out after school with their friends enjoying their childhood because they're on a bus. You know, there's no doubt they'll be on a bus if there's a school in Wasaga Beach because we're long and linear as well, but not nearly as long. And so we'll continue that fight. I believe in our kids. I believe in our community. There's only one thing standing behind or between our children and a high school, and that's the Simcoe County District School Board. We need to change that mindset.
Excellent. Well, thank you. That's very informative. And we're going to move right into our next question.